Good evening, everyone. This is RCB News, and I am your host, Ryan Bowling. I want to get right down to the business at hand. I'm going to be reading an article out of the Daily Wire, which is considered to be one of the fastest growing conservative news sources in the country. We all know Candace Owens, who is very popular, a popular conservative commentator and also an author. In fact, I purchased her first book. And by the way, let me show you that book. It is right here. Candace Owens Blackout. I think she wrote it about a year or so ago. And it's a great book. I highly recommend it. It's a great resource, well written, accurate, and well researched. So I'm going to be reading this article out of the Daily Wire. Now, unfortunately, I do not have the software to literally show you the article, so I can only read it. But on your own time, you can go to the description box and click onto that, and you will see the source there, and you can read it on your own free time. You can read the entire article on your own free time. But this is an article from the Daily Wire. And this article is in reference to the hoopla concerning the women's U.S. soccer team. Pretty much, you guys pretty much already know about that. But I wanted to give my spin on what I think that this particular incident actually is doing for people, for America. Number one, for America, how it is putting a negative stain on America, and how it is, I believe, in my opinion, affecting other people, other foreigners that may want to visit this country or may want to be a part of this country. So I'm going to get into that after I read a portion of this article. And this article is entitled, Women's Soccer. Only one player stands before Olympic game for bronze. Others take knee. That's a common thing now, taking a knee. It says, the U.S. women's soccer team took a knee in solidarity with the radical Black Lives Matter movement before the team's game for bronze on Thursday, save for one player, Carla Lloyd. Photos from the field show Lloyd stayed on her feet while all the other 10 players on the field took a knee to protest alleged systemic racism in the U.S. against black people. That's common now, isn't it? It goes on to say, read further on down here. The women's team went on to win the game 4-3 against Australia. Lloyd and teammate Megan Rapinoe split the 4 goals with 2 apiece. I guess that's how you pronounce her name. As noted by Fox News, Lloyd's performance was record-setting with 10 Olympic goals. She outpaced a record from former U.S. women's star Abby Wambach. Notably, the Tokyo Olympics are expected to be Lloyd's last. Thursday's game was not the first time the U.S. women have protested the nation they are representing, even at times during the playing of the national anthem. Last November, members of the U.S. women's team wore Black Lives Matter jerseys and kneeled for the national anthem in the Netherlands in solidarity with the far left movement. The Daily Wire reported, and I'm going to attempt to read some words from this group that they stated in this when the Daily Wire interviewed them. I'm going to attempt to read some of the words here, and I'm going to tell you, it bothers me. It really, really bothers me. I can sense that maybe these people are sincere in what they're doing, but they're sincerely wrong. I totally disagree with their blanket statement about America. But this is what they say: we love our country, and it is a true honor to represent America. Love your country. Okay. I can't tell. It goes on to say, it is also our duty to demand that the liberties and freedoms that our country was founded on extend to everyone. Read a statement that members of the team posted on social media before the game, which ended in a 2-0 defeat against the Netherlands. Today, we wear Black Lives Matter to affirm human decency. We protest against racial injustice and police brutality against black people. We protest against the racial infrastructures that do not provide equal opportunity for black and brown people to fulfill their dreams, including playing on this team, the statement continued. Now, before I read further, I want to make a comment out here on this statement right here. Okay, I understand this part where they say today we protest against racial injustice and police brutality against black people. I get that. I understand that. I understand that you want to protest against things that are racially unjust, and true police brutality. But here's the problem in my view on that. The question I have to ask, is there really any real racial injustice against blacks in 2021 America that's so bad that no blacks are being successful? Is there any of that? Is so-called police brutality so bad that the federal government has to come in and reform everything? I can understand this ideology about protesting in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and the 60s during the civil rights movement when there was real racial injustice. But is that the case today? I believe these people are sorely misguided. The statement goes on to say, as the United States women's national team players, we collectively work towards a society where the American ideals are upheld and black lives are no longer systemically targeted, end quote. And then it goes on to say, and then it goes, get this now, then it goes on to say, Black Lives Matter, the statement concluded. It concludes with the term Black Lives Matter. Okay. Early in the games, all 22 players on Team USA took a knee in a, quote, anti-racist demonstration prior to kickoff against Sweden. Raponio, I guess that's the way I'm pronouncing her name. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mighty. Raponio has stood by, although I really don't care. Raponio has stood by the protesting at the Olympics despite the backlash. And I'll make a comment right here about the backlash. I'm pretty sure that the backlash might not just be from conservatives. I'm going to assume, too, that some of the people that's backlashing against this are some liberals. All liberals don't think alike, just like all conservatives don't think alike. You have the far left liberals and you have some that are more moderate. And many of these moderate liberals or moderate Democrats are not for this taking a knee. So I'm pretty sure that some of this backlash that this women's Olympic team is getting is from the middle of the road liberals or middle of the road Democrats. He goes on to say the Raponio, whatever her name is, goes on to say, and I'm quoting her words, it's an opportunity for us to continue to use our voices and use our platforms to talk about the things that affect all of us intimately in different ways, Raponio said, following the team's loss to Sweden, according to the Associated Press. We have people from Team USA from all over the country, from all backgrounds, and people literally from all over the world for every other team. So I obviously encourage everyone to use that platform to the best of their ability to do the most good that they possibly can do in the world, especially as all eyes are on Tokyo these next couple of weeks, she continued. Oh, goodness. Ugh. We're on the global, I'm going to go ahead and read the rest of it. We're on the global stage with the world's media and eyeballs and people's attention, all drawn to one place with a collection of incredible athletes from all over the world who care a lot about what they're doing here in Tokyo in terms of their sports and who care a lot about a lot of other things. End quote. As noted by the Daily Wire, Team USA performed far below expectations at the Tokyo Olympics. The team was ranked #1 in the world and expected to take gold. The team narrowly beat Australia 4-3 to snag a bronze after taking losses to Sweden and Canada. And that's the end of that. But as you can see, this whole ideology that they're doing is just, in my opinion, just totally taken way overboard. And I wanted to say this about this. This is my spin on this. Number one, you have the right to protest. That's anyone, any group. As American citizen, you have the right to protest. That is one of our freedoms, freedom of speech. You have the right to do that. So I'm not knocking these ladies for exercising their right to protest or to take a knee, whatever. That's your right to do. Now, mind it, if it was any other country, a third world country like communist country or an extremist tyrannical government, you couldn't take a knee or say anything negative about that, yeah, because that could get you killed. But here in America, one of the freedoms we have is freedom of speech, and so they have the right to go ahead and protest against what they believe or perceive to be racial injustice against black and brown people. But here's my spin on that. First of all, when you are competing on a national scale, your protesting is telling foreigners who may want to immigrate here that you will not get a chance in America. When you do this before all the people all over the world that are watching the Olympics, and you take a knee, what you're telling people from other countries who may want to immigrate over, who may want to come over here because their country is oppressive and they don't have any rights and any freedoms and they can't make any money and any of that, and they want to come over here to America. When you take a knee, what you're saying in an indirect way to them is, man, America ain't all cracked up what everybody said it is. It's no different than my country. I might as well stay over here. If I'm going to be shackled up and bound over there, and what's the point? What you're actually saying is that there are hardly no successful black and brown people in America. And that's just not true. When you look, I'm pretty sure that many people from other countries that have been given the privilege and opportunity by their government to have the internet and maybe have TVs or whatever, or have some of the luxuries that we have here in the West, I'm pretty sure that they are pretty keen to many of the black and brown celebrities and superstars that we have here in America. And when they see these people, these black and brown people being successful, making millions and millions of dollars, that tells them that America is the place to be. So this idea of taking a knee before millions of people all over the world during the Olympics, to me, is misguided. You're sending a mixed message to people that want to come here to this country to be free. And that's where I have my problem with. I don't have a problem with a person or this group's right to protest. I have a problem with, it's raining out here, y'all. Can you hear that? I have a problem with the stage or the platform you're using to do that. I don't believe that the Olympics is the platform that you should use to protest anything. This goes all the way back to, I think, the 60s, when it was the two couple of African-American men. I think they were track stars. And at the end of I guess they won, and at the end of the race or whatever, they held their hands up with Black Power symbolism, held their fists up in the air as a form of solidarity for Black Power. Well, back then, I could kind of understand that. But today, no. I don't believe that to be true, because I believe black people today are way more successful, have way more benefits, way more opportunities to be successful than they ever have. And even and I've said this in one of my previous videos, even during the early 19th century, blacks were still successful in many areas. When racism and discrimination was at an all-time high, when you had Jim Crow laws and all of these type of things, and the KKK running around and lynching people, you still had certain segments of blacks being very successful. And my thing is like this: if it happened then, it certainly if the opportunity was there then, even though it was constrained, it's certainly here today. So any group that comes here from another country have these opportunities before them to be the best that they can be. Now, it doesn't mean that people that come from another country is going to be successful. A whole bunch of things could happen. You can't control everything that happens to you. But if you come here, your chances of being successful will be greatly increased, because America, in my opinion, based on my studies, is not a systemically racist country. I'm not saying that discrimination and racism doesn't exist, but it certainly is not holding people of color and brown people, anybody else, down from being successful. You'd have to be blind as a bat to acknowledge, to confess something like that. You'd have to be blind. People of all different ethnicities all around us are successful. And on the flip side of that, I've seen, and like I said this in one of my other videos, on the flip side of that, I've seen many white people who are not successful. I've see homeless white people all the time where I work at the Cleveland as a security officer at downtown in Tower City in Cleveland, Ohio. I see this all the time. So my whole point is simply that I feel that this is not the platform to do this. You are demonizing America, whether they're doing it purposely or not purposely. You're demonizing America and making it look like it's the worst country or no better than any other country. Why would other people from other countries come here by the thousands if America was so systemically racist and if police were just going around picking black and brown people to kill them just to be killing them? That is totally not true. So that's what I wanted to say on that. But if you guys like this video, please press the like button, give your comments, have something to say about this. Let's get some dialogue going. Share this video and subscribe to this video. Thank you very much and have a blessed and awesome day.